It is complex to say the least, of course, but with us now is someone who knows a lot about this way of manufacturing things, Jonathan Rowley, who's design director of the 3D printing studio Digits to Widgets. Jonathan, thanks very much for coming in. We'll have a look at the material in just a moment. First of all, though, in terms of the gun you can create yourself off a 3D printing machine now, how effective, how dangerous would it be? Is it?
This is an old story. This is a 5-year-old story. The footage that you see of Cody Wilson firing his gun is from 5 years ago. That gun that he produced was produced on an industrial 3D printer. And even then, he admits that it only gives you 5 shots before it explodes in your hand. You know, I understand that as far as the world is concerned, this is a very worrying story. But, you know, just because a young man from Texas tells you that he's 3D printing a gun, is it really a gun? Is it a reliable tool which you can depend upon to defend yourself with?
That's interesting. So your suggestion is perhaps that it's not all it's cracked up to be, but as you say, you call it an old story. 5 years ago it was, wow, what is this thing? Technology, if we know one thing about it, is it moves incredibly quickly. So the principle is there nonetheless, isn't it?
No, absolutely. Within the past 5 years, there have been some slow advances in the technology, but you know, in terms of home 3D printers, where this is the biggest threat, they have not advanced in any way or in anywhere near the level where you can really make a viable, reliable tool.
Just on a practical level, you've got some fabric here, some 3D fabric here. Just give us a look at that on the camera and how flexible and how strong it is as well. And what did it take to print something like that out?
Well, I mean, this is a far happier example of 3D printing. This is a project that we've developed with a textiles tutor from Manchester, whereby we've taken traditional knit patterns, drawn the CAD, and then produce that in our industrial 3D printer.
So that is the highest grade printer you're going to, or not quite the highest maybe, because Boeing I think have
intermediate,
one,
intermediate. This came off a machine that cost €300,000. So this is not within the realms of your bedroom or your garage.
But the feasibility, presumably, of this 3D gun is that you, let's say you spend $300,000 on one and you start churning them out. They're not traceable, they're probably easily disposable, and that has to be the worry, doesn't it?
Potentially. This whole issue about traceability I understand entirely. Serial numbers on guns are used to trace their whereabouts and who's got them. But they are also a stamp of production certification. They reassure you that this thing has been made in an engineering works where it's been tested and it's a reliable tool. If you're printing something at home, a little plastic assembly, you put it all together, it's never been fired. Do you want to be the one to test that first off? And then you're left with a tool that potentially will blow up in your hands after 6 rounds.
Still leaves a lot of the morality questions around it are still there, but the practicality questions you say are pretty clear.
Very limited. This is a political thesis, and it's very effective. Cody Wilson is a brilliant young man. He's got Donald tweeting about it. He's brought me in today. 3D printing is a lot more interesting than making guns.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We'll have to stop it there, Jonathan. Just to point out, Cody Wilson, the man behind us here, who set all this in motion. Thanks very much indeed for talking us through.
Thank you very much.